Welcome to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be talking about the HTML forms on the current version of the HTML, which is HTML5. So let's begin. Before I begin, you have to subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the like button, and don't forget to ask for questions in the comment section, and I will answer right below. So let's move on. HTML forms can be used to collect user data, make a login form, registration form, a search form, a contact form, and the likes. What this place is saying is like it can use to collect data from using a website, just like when you're asked to input an email, your phone number. Those are what they call HTML forms. Like for the people that are creating it, they will know that the HTML forms are used to create those type of things like the registration form and the login form. So let's continue. The form element defines an HTML form. HTML form attributes. Let's talk about the HTML form attributes. What make up an HTML form? Accept characters define the character set of the form. That one has explained itself. It defines the character of the form. The action specify the form handler, page handler, usually a .php page in the server side where the data is processed. Like Facebook has a PHP, WhatsApp has PHP. Like where your form is going to be submitted to, that is where it's called. That's when you're going to use the action www dot or whatever. So autocomplete tells the browser to automatically complete form elements. What this place is saying is that it auto completes it with is the browser that helps to auto complete it. Like some people browser does not support it, but mostly all browsers support autocomplete to help you complete form elements. Like when you have, let's assume you want to put something, you want to give an information to someone, and your Google already has, like your Google has already had the info. That means that you just click on your info, then it will autocomplete it to the browser. Method defines the HTTP method to use when submitting a form, get or post. It's explained further below. So, as what I said about the action and the method actually they somehow work together. So let's continue. It's also is explained further below. So we'll get there. Name ID class used for identifying the form for the purpose of styling and document object manipulation. This is trying to tell you that it makes it like to be able to identify the form, to make it like when you want to edit it using the CSS, like when you want to style it, the name, ID, and class are what you are going to actually specialize on. So that is why you need to put it in the form. So no validate tells the browser not to validate the form. Like let's assume you're making a fake website. So like let's assume you're making a fake website and don't want like the form to be validated. That is what the no validate is used for. No submit used to call the JavaScript function for form validation when the form is submitted. Unsubmit is that one is for JavaScript. It's a JavaScript function for form validation when the form is submitted. So the target defines the target of the form. Target equals to blank. Form handler will be opening a new tab. Like when you, just like Facebook, once you finish registering, it will take you to another place. Like it will take you to the home page. That's what it's used for. So to submit an HTML form, the user has to click the submit button. The user will be redirected to the form handler page specified by the action attribute where the input is processed. The form handler is typically an hypertext processor server page that runs scripts to process input data. PHP is PHP is a server-side language. That one when it's released on this app that I'm using, I'm going to update you guys on it. But please don't also forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share. Unfortunately, we are not going to teach you today how to handle forms in PHP, but you can wait until that's what I just said. You're going to wait till they release the Unlearn PHP app, then I'm going to update you on it. For now, we only use the sample page ampler, so like they created a fake one just to show example to how they are processed in the server side. For example, the form action. So let me show you the example. So this is an example of a form, a full form. You have to make the form like you don't need for at first, like for a beginner, you don't first need the form action. Like this has to get a word first. This has to get a word first. Like if you're first learning, it's not a must you add the form action and the sampler. What you first need to get is just this form, then the continuation. Like there's no how you can create a form without using an input, and input we're going to be learning the next lessons. The input type, there are different type of inputs. There's input type equals to text, input type equals to text, input type equals to tell, input type equals to number. I already posted that on my YouTube short, like example of input type. You can check on my YouTube short to view that video. So the input type equals to text. Input type equals to text. So I'm going to be showing you input type equals to text and input type equals to submit. That are the two major functions that they used in this place. So let's now check the output of what they did. Can you see like the name equals to full name, the placeholder are also using the input. Like the placeholder, if I can change this to my name, look at what is brought out in placeholder. I'll type like they are words that are not written, like they are just words that act like as if they are written but they are not written. Like if I write something, it's going to change immediately because they act like words that are not written. So let's move on. The input type equals to submit. That is the submit button, but because I removed the sampler input page, it's not going to show me anything because I already removed it. So now let's add the form action equals to, that's not the real one, but let's just add it to see what so it has been added. Can you see now? I already had form action equals to sampler page handler.html method equals to get. So let's check the output. See, it's same thing. So when I press the submit button, see, form has been successfully submitted. This is not a real form landing page. You learn from handling as soon as our hypertext processor or PHP tutorial is released. This is just a fake, like a demo of what they're about. Like that's what PHP actually does. So let's move on. The attribute method. The method attribute specifies which HTML method to use when submitting input data to the form handler page. It could either be get or post. So we are going to be talking about which one is better. Is it the get or the post HTTP method? Here's a simple table to show the difference between the get and post method. So this is the HTTP method. The get, it has a default value. The post, not the default value. That means there's one that the browser automatically the get is also less secure and the post is more secure. Data is written on the URL address. Data is not written on the URL address. The get is more prone to hacking. The post is less prone to hacking. The get must not be used when submitting personal data because it will be less secure. You get. Then the post must be used for submitting personal data. So the HTML form elements are elements inside the form element. You will learn various types of HTML form elements, including input, text boxes, buttons, check boxes, drop down list, and more in the next lessons. So we are going to be also explaining all that also. So we are going to continue with the input element are the input field inside the form. There are different types of input fields and you will learn each of them in the next lesson. So attribute name. Every form element except the submit button must have its own unique name attribute unless the data will not be submitted to the form handler because it's used as a reference to get the value of each element entered by the user. So let's go to the next lesson. HTML form labels. An HTML form label is an inline element. It can be associated with form elements or form controls like an input, text area, and select for accessibility purposes. The label element defines an HTML form label. To associate a label to an input, we can use the 4 attributes with the values same as the input ID attribute. Note that in these lessons, there are going to be a little bit of CSS and a little bit of JavaScript with explanations. So label for demo, I am a label. Input type equals to text, ID equals to demo. So this is the output. The label makes it I am a label. The label brings it in front. Then the input text equals to makes it bring out, and the input text bring out the box. So let's continue. As what we have mentioned, form labels are for accessibility purposes. Try to click the label to focus the text field. So let's try it. So now look at the output. Go me, whatever. Type anything, it's going to bring out. The input text actually brings a box by itself. So let's continue with our lesson. Another way to associate a label to an input is to nest the input within the label. Before, I already talked about nesting in an HTML. So now let's look. You can make a label make a label tag like I am a label, and it's going to still bring out the same output. Like this is also the output. The example below contains internal styling to see the internal styling. So this is a little bit of CSS. So look at what it brought out. Look at how beautiful it is. The label app was designed by border radius, background color, the padding left, padding right, and the margin right. But that's not what we are in for today. We are actually in for the HTML exactly. So let's continue. There will be more HTML form labels and examples in the next lesson. So let's keep on going and enjoy. So now we are going to the input types. Like I said before, the input type is associated with the form. So the input element is a form element. This lesson we are not going to put all of the different input type inside the form element, because we will only use JavaScript to get their values. Like I said, we are going to be adding a little bit of JavaScript. I've been using an hypertext in using PHP page handler form handler inputs should be inside the form, and their name attribute are mandatory. Unfortunately, we are not going to learn that yet until our Learn PHP app is released. Like I said before, until the PHP is out released, I'm going to update you guys on that. So a single line text. So we are going to be talking about the first one. We're going to be talking about is the text. So let's go. Now this is the text, the input text. Like the first thing we are going to write is the input text. The next one we're going to write, because of JavaScript, the button on click was get value. So like now when I click I hello and I press and I get the value, it's going to give me an alert box saying I hello because of the JavaScript. And I'm going to explain the JavaScript. Script type equals to text or JavaScript. This button on click makes it like when you click the button, it brings out an alert box. Like so, before you can create an alert box like this, you have to write the alert document get element by ID, then open the demo, the ID, the demo. This is the ID, and you have to get the element by the ID, and the ID equals to demo. So you write the demo with just a quotation mark, then you write the value, then you close your bracket, then you put your semicolon, then it's going to bring out whatever you type here, and it's going to give you like that as an alert box. So we are going to be going to checkbox also. So let's now go for checkbox. Input type equals to checkbox. When you try an input type equals to checkbox, this is what is going to bring out. The checkbox is going to give you something like this. So like when I now click on the checkbox and I press when I click on the checkbox and I press it's going to tell me true, but when it's not clicked, it's going to give you false. Reason being that the JavaScript already set that once you check the box and you click it, it's going to get you true and not false. But when you don't click on it, it will give you false. So let's continue. So now we're going to be getting color, a simple built-in color. It returns an X color code. So like when I click on this blue, it's going to when I click on blue, I press it and I press get value, it's going to give me the code, like the X color attribute, like like X in the lessons. I haven't talked about color, but I think I'm going to do that in the next video. The the CSS colors and the HTML colors, they are almost the same, but you use X colors, mostly X colors in CSS. So it's going to give you the X colors attribute like the #000FF. So we are going to continue. The date, HTML5, a control for entering a date, year, month, and day with no hours and minutes. So let's continue. It's going to bring the HTML input type for date is going to give you something like this. When you try that JavaScript get value, it's going to give you something like this. You could just set it here and it's going to bring out the date. But if you want it to get value, it's going to bring out the date as an alert using the JavaScript. I'm not going to be talking much on JavaScript because the lesson we are actually learning is the HTML5 input types. So the datetime local is also something like that, like also like the former date we just finished, but it has more features than that. Like it's going to tell you the time, the everything, like tell you the time, the year, the month, and the day. So let's continue. So the email is just like where you're going to click an email. If you click a wrong email in an email box, it's not going to give you, like, it's going to reject it. It's going to reject it because it was actually set to be an email, not a word or text. So let's continue. We learn about attributes that can be used with this input element on our HTML5 element attribute. So let's continue. Let's go to HTML5 input types part 2. So this is part 2. A control for selecting the file. So like when you press input type equals to file, it's going to bring, you can choose a file from here. Like me, I'm going to choose draw my story. The image file will be shown here. Sorry, let me choose another picture. Due to the fact that it was an error, it's going to bring out the box. You get what I'm saying? So let's move to the next. Let's go to the next input files. I'm going to be skipping the hidden because it's just simple. Like it's just when you click in the hidden, it's not going to bring it out. So let me now go to the next one. Going to the months, it's just like the year. So just like the same thing. So let's just leave that and go to numbers. Numbers is like the input type equals to numbers. Like when you have this, it's going, instead of bringing out a text, it's going to bring out the inputs for numbers and not text. But if it's text, it's going to bring out like the A B C D Q W E R S T Y. But since it's not a text, since it's numbers, it's going to bring out the numbers. So thank you. And so now I'm going to be going to the password. The input type equals to password is very funny. Like when I click it, instead of it to bring it out as a letter, it's going to bring it out as in like a code. Like it's going to be it's going to be hidden. Like instead of it to be bringing out the real value of what I pressed, it's going to be bringing out dots. You get. So let's go to the next input. So now let's go to the radio. A radio button allows a single value to be selected out of multiple. So look at the value. Get value. I'm a female, and when I click it's going to tell me I'm a male. That is what the radio is used for. So let's go to the part 3 lesson. The range, a control for entering a number whose exact value is not important. So let's try it. Range is just like you getting a volume like this, getting a volume like 0, put it here, 33, max 100. That is just what the range is used for. So let's go to the let's go to the next one, which is search. Let's click on search. This one is just like a text which you can use to search for. That's a cancel button. That is why it's actually a search button. So let's go to the tell. Tell is just like telephone number. It also brings out numbers instead of text. So let's continue. Let's go to time. This is a type for imputing time. See, so this is time 6:50. That is just like a distance for getting the value of time. So the URL is used for getting, like, maybe you want to search for something, you send the URL instead of the page. That is what, and this input type is used for. So let's go to the next one. Week you can use to get like 5, 25. That's what it's used for. So that's what the input type for week is used for. So let's go to the next lesson. So that will be the end of today's lesson, because of the lesson. So that will be to the end. That will be to the end of today's lesson. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, hit the like button, and don't forget to follow and hit the notification bell to be able to enjoy lots of videos on coding on mobile. So I'm going to be leaving the link below to my Facebook page, so that you can be able to get exciting videos there also. So thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. How is it?